All right, beautiful souls. Next up, we have Brettney Perr. She's our very last one. Yeah. But she's a founder of Obscuram. She's a published author, empath evolution expert. She's skilled in emotional support services and international mentorships. As a public speaker, she has shared the stage with Les Brown. She's also an autodidact, self-taught polymath and has a vast range of knowledge in a variety of fields. Yeah, yeah, she really is quite amazing. And I'm going to vouch for her as a speaker. Honestly, there's been a few times we've been in the same events together, and you always blow me away with just how authentic you are when you speak. And we actually met. Was it in one of Miro's groups? I forget.
Yes, it was through Miro.
Wonderful. Yeah, that's another great connector.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you do have this, yeah, you have it as your title, a human evolution coach. There's a lot of different coaches out there, but what do you actually mean by that?
So human evolution is bringing people back to their authenticity, to who they innately are, and to their humanity, like restoring that human to human connection and what it means to like fully embody being human, being here, being present on this planet at this period of time, and really experiencing and exploring that to its fullest. So a lot of times I help people connect with their identity, which is a lot more than what we would assume it is. Like I could ask the room right now, and feel free to participate. Who are you? Like, feel free to put it in the chat or any of that. Come off of mute.
Oh, we just did the IM exercise the other day, guys. I know we've got some. What did we learn?
That's perfect. Like it just puts everybody, to the test. Beautiful, beautiful. And I love that you did that exercise, because a lot of what's coming up here is very different from what people would say. Like people would say, well, I'm their job description. I'm their sexual preferences. I'm a mom, like things like that. And really, you're much more than that. So one of the things that I've developed and co-developed is called the 4 aspects of your identity. And it's highlighting each and every one of those individual aspects. So one of the things that I learned from Les Brown and got more info and data on is how the familial aspect actually goes down into your genetic codes, into your genetic level of things that you pick up, even if you're not around your biological parents. At that genetic level, you still have these aspects of your identity, these proclivities, these things that you're more inclined to do or go after. So when Les Brown shares a story about being adopted, he goes into that and reconnecting with his biological mother and so much that they have in common. So it's very fascinating hearing that and understanding that, it is connected in, various aspects. So I love these comments here, because you're not just one thing, like you're an expression of the world around you and in your unique presence of that expression. So that's what human evolution is. It's really bringing you back to who you are truly meant to be, without all the noise that people have, pushed at you, whether that be parents, social media, all the other stuff. Like it's taking the noise out and really getting into authentically who you are and who you're meant to be, and helping you to stay grounded within that space.
So you said people usually answer with like, I am a mother, I'm a coach, or this. So I guess, can you get into why do we identify that way?
We're pretty much pushed to experience life in that way, to really narrow ourselves down to, I'm gonna kind of like just go all out, to be a product, to be commoditized, to have our humanity literally stripped from us so that we can put ourselves on an easily understandable platter for the world. And we're so much more than just that. There's this great quote. I am forgetting who it's by at the moment, but it's called "Specialization is for Insects." And it's like, we're not meant to be these really niche specialized beings. And even the specialized being still has domestic things they take care of, like, doing taxes, organization in their home, so much more than just being, like, let's say, a neuroscientist, right? So, and even that encompasses many different things. So within that, it's really recognizing that we are far more within this space, within this realm, than we are led to believe.
Okay.
So.
But,
Mhm.
there's entrepreneurs in this room. So we're also told we're supposed to niche and we're supposed to commodify ourselves in some way. So how do we balance like honoring the spiritual thing, but still being able to, sell ourselves in different ways? And everyone says you're supposed to have a niche. So how do you balance that with everything you just said?
Yeah, so it's finding that umbrella theme. So, like, within the comments here, and I love this, what Stephanie said: I am spirit in physical form, playing the role of a multidimensional human. And no matter what you think you are always more than that. Bingo. So I love the comments here when I ask the question of who are you? And it's like, I see Deval, hopefully I'm saying that right, says, I'm a wonderful being. And it's about being, and it's about themes. So with me connecting people to who they authentically are, I was like, this is an evolutionary process. This is an embracing of who you are meant to be as a human being and in the expression of a human being. So a lot of my history has been like naturally having inclinations to research behavior patterns. Started with animals and then like up-leveled that to seeing the consistencies and contrast with humanity. And so that's why I'm like, kind of like a human evolution. So it also encompasses the story of my research and the development into this field, and then developing my own coaching strategies, because there's a huge gap for a lot of people that are not the norm, so to speak, quote unquote, because nobody is really normal. They're just kind of corralled into this idea of normalcy that is been excruciating to their personal self-expression. Mm-hmm. So that's how I came up with the name of that and the expression of what it is that I do in a way that people can relate and understand. And when I'm in different discussions with people, that can shift. So like if I am speaking to a neuroscientist, I'm probably going to be speaking more along the lines of brain patterning, brain waves, frequencies, and those sorts of things. If I'm speaking with someone who is, let's say, an actor, it's going to be more emotionally geared and emotionally recognizable. So it's kind of moving away from the one size fits all dynamic, which rarely ever fits all, and really coming to, the reality of we are dynamic beings, and we can be dynamic beings, and that's a great thing to be. And with that, just understand that people also have their own things that are going on in their lives, so they might not remember everything about you. So be prepared to like remind them, oh yeah, I do this too, which is something that I have to do a lot because broad range from, I actually started in animal husbandry, went to entertainment industry, different sides of the entertainment industry, into coaching, into like a variety of different realms. So I can walk into a room, let's say with venture capitalists, talk business, and then come and hang out with a bunch of artists. Like it's kind of fun doing that. But it's because I've really embraced the fact that I'm not limited to the paradigms that people try to shove on me. And I actually got frustrated when people are like, find your niche. And I'm like, no, I am not going to do that. I would prefer to scoop out my eyes with a spoon. than niche my stuff down. So my solution was theme, like themes and things that encompass a storyline in a very succinct way.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I do love that. Yeah. That idea of themes, but also too, I don't know if you've ever experienced this, or maybe you have, like, I was a lighting designer and I did theater forever and a producer, came back and like, oh, I'm an energy healer now. So I guess what are ways that you, besides just saying, no, this is me now, what are ways that you help people change their minds about you when you've changed drastically, when you've come up with this new evolution, this new version of you? So does that make sense? How do you get the people around you to adapt to your evolutions?
Yeah. So I have to ask, is the question of, is it actually a change? Because energy is energy, right? Like a lot of the principles that I coach with metaphysical practitioners is that theory of like energy. Are you making a conduit to this person? Like when you are sending energy to something, it doesn't matter if you're like sending energy to block it, you're still sending energy. Like there's still an exchange and a connection that's going on there. So you more so have an idea of how energy works in the most practical sense, and you've just up-leveled that to another plane. Like it's as simple and basic as that. Like that's when I'm like, that's not really a shift, but I have to take, I guess most people would have to take off the limiting parameters that they would understand about things to really be able to see that. So the way is just explain that, like, hey, I noticed working as a lighting technician really translated to this, and here's the ways that this translated. So I'm doing this now, and it all makes sense because of those paradigms, that foundation that I've had. And that's the idea of a polymath is once again, like I started with behavior patterns and then expanded off of that. So I can do like hundreds of calculations of understanding a variety of different people just from understanding behavior patterns and the human condition. So it's taking that small little grain and then just kind of like making it bigger, putting it under a microscope and seeing all the little facets, all the little divots and everything, and knowing that all these little divots can be their own thing. It could, a grain of rice under a microscope can be its own planet, having, variety of bacteria, organisms all over it, like living and thriving on it. So it's understanding that concept and just expanding the purview of it and really conveying that to people in a way that they can be like, oh, that's interesting. Energy is energy. And you've actually literally translated energy in its most tangible form or recognizable or understandable form to something that's a little more esoteric, but it's really not, because you really can't see energy, like static energy around us unless it's being triggered. So yeah.
That's so beautifully put. And it's so true because I think all of us can relate. Like, even though it looks different, we've always had that core of energy, that space that we've always been in. Yeah, fantastic. All right. And I think you were going to talk to us about fear today, coming through fear.
Yes.
Whoa. All right. Well, I'm going to reset the recording and give you the stage.
Awesome.
Yay.